Hi everyone, welcome to episode 9 of Debra Quilts Lots and Knit Bits. I'm Debra McCracken and I quilt lots and I knit a little bit. So I'm glad you're joining me. Today is November 5th, it's Tuesday afternoon. I did already record this morning, however I was babbling and I thought, well, I'll just start all over again. And I'm coming to you from beautiful Penticton, British Columbia, Canada, and it's so nice here today. There's people in the park across the street having picnics in their shirt sleeves, so which is very cool for November. Well, it's very warm for November, and it's kind of cool that they're out there in their t-shirts. We're expecting some flurries tomorrow, maybe, so it might be the very last kick at the cat to get out in the sunshine today. So I come here, I try to come monthly, but unfortunately this is episode 9 in the 11th month of the year because that's just how it went this year. And this is fun for me. I don't want to have too much pressure, so just get a day where I've got not a bad hair day going on. I put some makeup on and I've got a few things done to show you, and here we are. So I talk a little bit about my knitting, I talk a little bit about quilting and sewing and some books that I've been listening to and just some general stuff. So you may have noticed my new sweater. This sweater is called Magpie Tendency, and I got it off of Ravelry, and the designer is Melissa Alexander Loomis. I first saw this sweater on the Wet Coast Wools podcast, and I'll just read you the description here. For those golden, beautiful skeins that are too perfect for socks, too delicious to be mixed in with other yarns, Magpie Tendency is a cropped layering piece meant to stretch those fingering weight yarns as far as they can go. And this is the last skein of yarn that I bought at Fibrophilia Fest in 2018. I'm kind of proud of myself. I promised myself I wouldn't go and buy a whole bunch of yarn and have all kinds of projects hanging over my head, like I do with my quilting. And so this is the last skein that I purchased last year at Fibrophilia Fest that I hadn't used yet. Everything else I've used. So now I'm kind of only a year and a half behind. So that's pretty good. So and when I filmed earlier this morning and went and got changed, or just took my sweater off and hung it up in the closet, I realized that I had it on backwards and inside out. So, not that you could tell, but I thought, okay, well, there's a good reason to put it on right side out and start all over again. So this sweater has an I-cord bind cast on and an I-cord bind off, and it's quite cute. And it blocked out really well. I've been pulling on it now for a little while. So I think my initial intention was to wear it over like a tank top because it's pretty warm for me for a long sleeve shirt and a sweater on. And it goes really cute over a couple of my little sundresses. However, when I put the tank top on, it looked like sausage casing, so I needed something a little looser to model it for you. Anyway, so it started with the I-cord neckline, and then you did the shoulder pieces and picked up stitches and went on, and then joined and worked in the round for the rest. And I got to here and was worried that I was going to run out of yarn on the I-cord bind off. So I have like this much left. And I'm debating whether or not to pull the bind off out and put it on, or just use this in another project. Anyway, so this is merino nylon, fingering weight, by Cool Cat Fiber Works, and it was Iron Islands. It was the exclusive colorway that she dyed for Fiberphilia Fest 2018, and I just really liked it. So I will put a link to her Etsy store in my show notes or down below in the description, and a link to the pattern. You can make this at the V-neck, you can make it with longer sleeves, you can do some contrast here, you can make it longer, of course. There's a million things that you can do with it, and it really worked up quite quickly because you're using like big needles. I can't remember, I think they were like a 5.5mm needle with fingering weight yarn. So worked up really quickly, and they call this a broken garter stitch. So it was just basically a knit row, purl row, knit row, knit row. So it was pretty good. I enjoyed it and learned a few things along the way. The other thing that I got to this stage with was my Extapa sweater. So I got the front done and I've got it blocked. So here's the little lace on the sleeve and the lace down the edge. And I've got the back done too. So there is, I guess now I put it together and then pick up and knit the neckline, which is the same lacy design. And so I will get to that eventually. And that was out of the linen yarn that I got from So Much More in New Denver. And it's the Extapa sweater. And I really enjoyed knitting it too. It was fun. And I did finish a knitted birthday gift that I can't show you because, you know, in the event that my daughter were to watch this video, it would ruin the surprise. So I'll have to put in a picture of it next time. And there's also a little sewn component of that gift as well. And again, don't want to ruin the surprise, so I'll put it in the next time. Put just a photograph in. But I have also finished in my sewing just these little placemats, and they're from a panel. There were 2 sailboats and 2 panels that said "Life is better at the beach." And they were quite nice. I couldn't pass them up. So I added a strip on the top and on the bottom just to beef them up a little bit. And then I added some, it's called featherweight, but it's not the super featherweight interfacing, fusible interfacing from Pellon. And I added that to the wrong side of the front of the placemat, and then layered right sides together with the backing fabric, which is quite pretty, and sewed all the way around the edge. And then I squared off the corners and trimmed my seam allowance down to 1/8 of an inch after I had sewn it together, but before I turned it around, or like turned it right side out. And that helped make a very smooth transition here to get it turned. And then I pressed it really well, and then I left an opening, and I top stitched it all around the edge with a matching blue that you can't even see. Whoops. And finished it off like that. And you know, I could have used quilt batting and done a little bit of quilting in here. I could have used nothing at all and just had 2 layers of cotton. And at that point I probably would have done a little bit of quilting too, just to hold it together. But with this little bit of interfacing in there, it just keeps it stiff enough that it's not going to be a wrinkled mess when it comes out of the washing machine, which it probably will get washed quite a bit because we'll use them as placemats. The other thing that I finished was Thomas and Trixie. These little mice came on a panel, and they got little tails. And they came on a panel from Heather Ross, and they have little clothes to make, and they need to have, I'm going to color, I use my Pigma pen to put in some eyes and their nose and a little smile on them. And so along with their clothes, they also come with, they have a quilt, which again, I just right sides together with a little bit of quilt batting in there, and then I trimmed the seam allowance down to 1/8 of an inch before I turned it. I did leave a little extra. I haven't sewn this yet. I did leave a little bit of a lip on where it was turning just to make it easier for myself. And I will finish this one. I'll finish it up by hand, I think, and do a little bit of hand quilting. Not lots, just a little bit, because it's so tiny and it's so cute. But that's a fabric line by Heather Ross. It's called Thomas and Trixie, and it's very cute. There's little strawberries. There's some fabric that looks like this, and like Thomas and Trixie are even in, I don't know if you can see that, they're even in the fabric. And all these little colors, and it's quite nice. And Poppins has a few of them still. So, and they have a few panels left. And besides the quilt and the clothes, Thomas and Trixie also have a teepee that comes on the panel, and you just use little chopsticks to hold the teepee up. So I will get to that hopefully before Christmas. But if you know me at all, I am not a very good person when it comes to deadlines for myself. I have lots of quilts to do. I have basically kind of caught up and finished all the quilts that were brought to me while I was still working. So now I'm just in my regular kind of, I say 2 or 3 weeks, but it ends up to be 3 or 4 weeks because I go away teaching or I go away doing something, and I get behind a little bit. Or I record my podcast over and over again, and that takes a whole day. Basically, I'm on schedule to get everybody else's Christmas stuff done before Christmas, and mine may or may not get done. So fingers crossed. I'm really trying. So what else do I need to show you today? I have my orange challenge up here. So a few years ago, quite a few years ago, at our quilt guild, our October challenge was, you had to bring something with orange in it. So, I forgot until the very last day, and I ended up with some orange thread being made into kind of these improv pumpkins. And this was a Superior Highlights thread. It does, it glows under the black light. I don't think it glows in the dark, but it's pretty fluorescent orangey. And I took the stitch regulator off, so I got these nice big and little stitches, added a little bit of texture. And I may have drawn with chalk like the oval shape of the pumpkin, and maybe put a few of the veins in, but other than that, I just kind of did that freehand, and then I added some pumpkin leaves and some stems, and then I quilted the background with a Superior Rainbows thread that was variegated with dark colors. So you get a little bit of interest there, but it's not super obvious. I don't remember what the name of it was, but I really used that a lot on dark backgrounds. It worked really well. And so I'm pretty pleased with that. And as far as quilting goes, I did finish my Arabian Nights, my simplified version of Arabian Nights, which is a Bargello quilt that looks like a Persian carpet. And we do have a class at Poppins on Saturday, November the 9th. There's still time to sign up, and you need one fabric that goes in the Bargello portion of the quilt and is your border. You need 2.5 meters of that, and well, between 2.1 and 2.5. And then you need 14 other fabrics, and for my version you just need 0.6 of those. And what I did is I just used up things that I had that kind of related to each other, and I was able to justify putting this one next to that one because it matched this one and it made a bridge between these two, and that kind of thing. So I know that one of the students in the class is going to be using all William Morris prints. I'm very excited to see how that comes out. And I would really like to do it maybe in solids one day and just see if I could get that to work out. I think that'd be quite fun to have, like a dark, medium, light of 5 different fabrics, and either put all the darks together, all the mediums together, and all the lights together, all in the same order each time, or to put dark, medium, light of each color next to each other. I don't know. It turns out to be a huge quilt. It's like 80 something by 115 inches long, and I would love to try it 1,000 different ways. However, it's not going to happen. Just a second and I'll grab the pattern. I can show you that. Okay, so here's what the pattern looks like. And it's a Lydia Frohler design, Cotton Treasures. I think I got this in 2009 when it originally came out, and I finally got to it this fall. So yay me! Anyway, like I say, my simplified version will be, takes less fabric, has fewer seams, and I think it looks just as effective. So you tell me, do you like it, or do you like the original version? The look of the original version better. Anyway, so I'll put a picture in the show notes. So that's on Saturday. So in the meantime, I pulled a box out of the shelf on Saturday last week, I think. And this is what was in the box. Okay, so we're talking about this quilt on the wall here. This quilt was it's a mystery quilt from Border Creek Station. It is called Quilters Friendships Mystery Quilt, and it was the Border Creek Station Mystery Quilt Club 2018. And I was participating through Timmy Jean Quilting Arts in Castlegar. Timmy Jean was kind enough to send me the patterns in the mail after I signed up, and then I got everything when we went to when we met up at retreat. So with a mystery quilt, what they do, it's a mystery. You don't know what it's going to look like when you're going to get done. So they send you some fabric requirements, and you need so much of a dark, so much of a medium, so much of a light, blah blah blah. This lady actually does a kit. Well, she does 2 different kits out of Moda fabrics every time. So these were the 2 choices of her colors that she made up kits for. And so then I used these colors. And you might want to, that says peach on it, because I was going to put peach in, because this diamondy fabric has lots of colors in it. And there's some peachy bits, there's some orangey bits, there's a little bit of gold in there, there's lots of grays and blues and black, and And so I thought, ooh, well, I'm going to pull out that peachy bit. So I had the peachy fabric, and when I asked Timmy Jean, I said, oh, do you think I should use this? She kind of looked at me. So I picked out something else, which was like kind of a peachy, more of a corally pink grunge. So anyway, I was going on and on and on, and then I said, oh, I got this grunge I got to put in there. So I cut it up into triangles and then tried to figure out where it went. Well, there wasn't anywhere for it to go anymore. I think that what I thought I would end up with the peachy, I used something else for. I don't know if I used the teal, greeny teal, or if I used it in here and I wasn't supposed to. I don't know. Turns out to be an extra mystery. So now that I got this far, the corner of the block here, I didn't have enough of any of the diamond fabric to do what the pattern said. So I made up my own, and it ends up to look like this. You can't see that there. Ends up that way. So you get all your diamondy stuff is floating, and then you get this nice big square of dark stuff where you can do a bunch of quilting in. And then it got to the point where it was time to do the setting triangles. Well, I don't have enough fabric to do what they want you to do. So I'm trying to make it up as I go along. And I ended up with this big, I guess you can see it better here, another big space that kind of looks like tiles on top of each other. I'll be able to quilt that. Kind of cool too. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to end up with, I didn't have enough diamond to put on the ends. So I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do on those ends. And let's see if I can get this up a little bit. There we go. So across here, I think I'm going to have just another bar of this stuff. So it just looks like a frame that pokes in all the way till you get to the corner. And then who knows how that's going to look. So wish me luck and follow the directions. They're there for a reason. Yeah. So, I guess the other thing that we could talk about today is the books I've been listening to. I had just finished listening to A Lion of a Man, I think it's called. It's the third installment in the Wicked series. The author is Gregory Maguire, and it's a lot of fun. He takes these stories that we know well, and they're just an offshoot of each character. This one was about the Cowardly Lion and his life, kind of before and after Dorothy was in Oz, and it's kind of cool. Like I say, I'm really enjoying them. I think there's one more, there might be two more, but I've been listening to those on Audible. And, pardon me, the other one I've been listening to on Audible lately, I'm in the middle of it right now, is Brene Brown. It's called Rising Strong. I watched her special on Netflix a couple of months ago, and then a few other people were talking about her books. So I thought, well, I'll listen to this book too. And so basically, this is part of the reason why I scrapped this morning's recording, because I got talking about this and I got way off on some tangents. Basically, it's about how our interpretation of the situation affects our reaction to the situation, and how just a few extra words can turn that all around and make communication go much smoother. And I really think that that's, I know that it's awesome for me, because I've, had a habit all my life to kind of fly off the handle and talk about or assume that people were meaning this when they said that. And yeah, so it's a good moment to just stop and say, hold on, let's just find out exactly what they did mean and not what I'm making up in my head. So anyway, the other thing that I've been listening to, which might seem a little strange, but are the Jack Reacher books by Lee Child. We've been watching Jack Ryan, who is Tom Clancy's character, and there's a series on Amazon Prime with John Krasinski. He's from The Office, and he's kind of a goofy guy on The Office, and it's just totally cool to see him in this serious, tough guy, but Boy Scout kind of role, and he's really good in it. And so for some reason I thought that Jack Reacher and Jack Ryan are the same guy, but they're not. But Jack Reacher is cool, and his books are have a lot of detail on them. So, for somebody who's interested more in like the details of the ammunition that they use in this specific handgun or whatever, probably really, really enjoy them. But I really am enjoying the way the story moves along, and he's solving all these problems, and working things out for everybody. And retired military guy, same as Jack Ryan's. Well, he's not really retired, I don't know. Anyway, I really loved the Jason Bourne books. When I was working, we had a set of those, and we passed them around the office, and it was quite a thing. You hear from the person that was waiting for the one that you had almost every day. Did you finish yet? Did you finish it yet? Did you finish it yet? Because we were all like just devouring them, just like we did the Outlander series. So I mean, I know the two don't relate in any way, but it was kind of a fun group, and we had lots of those kinds of things that we did as well as go to work every day. So I think the only thing I have left to say is we have reached 40 subscribers. Woohoo! Thank you so much. My initial goal on doing this YouTube channel was to have 30 subscribers, and in September we had 31, so now we have 40, and maybe by the end of the year we might have 50, and then we could do a giveaway, a 50 subscriber giveaway. I could give away one of my project bags. That would be awesome. So please like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll come back in December, and I'll be able to show you a few of the things I've been working on that are kind of secret right now, and a little bit of quilting, a little bit of knitting. And if there's something that you'd like me to show you how to do, by all means, put a little comment below, and take a look at my Facebook page, Debra Quilts Lots, and I post all the pictures of all of the customer quilts that I've been quilting on there. And I also have an Instagram account where I put a few things once in a while, and I know I should keep that up a little bit more, but it's also Debra Quilts Lots. And on Ravelry, I have project pages for my Magpie Tendency sweater, and my Extapa sweater, and my column sweater that I just did, and I'll add a few other things to there as well. So, happy quilting, happy making, happy knitting. Enjoy the process. It doesn't have to get done by tomorrow unless it's a Christmas gift. And you know, quite often they don't even know if you didn't get it done. I've had instances where I made all these plans to get all these things done for Christmas and didn't get any of them done. So what I did that one year is I took all the stuff that was done and didn't have a home to our Christmas Eve thing at my brother's place, and I spread it all out on the bed in the spare room. And I told all the girls, you know, you go upstairs and you pick out anything you like. And it was pretty cool because the things that I had in mind for a specific person, that person picked that. But other things, other people pick things that I didn't expect to didn't expect them to pick. And it was pretty cool, and everybody went home with something finished and they were pleased, and I had enough stuff done to cover everyone. So, you know, take a look through all the little things you've been working on this year, and maybe there's something in there that somebody will really appreciate that you just never expected. So there you go. Anyway, as I say, relax, enjoy the process. It's supposed to be fun. It really is. Anyway, we'll talk soon. Thanks for watching.